You have a dog named Oprah.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
I consider that a compliment.
I don't even think Oprah Winfrey is a black woman. I think she's a white woman.
50 Cent just put Oprah on blast, and this time he's not playing around. This could change everything.
Like, Monique, why is she canceled?
Gotcha.
I had to revisit that because it was like, it didn't make sense to me, babe. I'm like, so what did she do? She said something you didn't like? So she didn't work for 13 years after that?
Right.
Ever notice how Oprah always seems to be linked to some of Hollywood's shadiest figures? We are talking about Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and even that weirdo John of God. Kind of makes you wonder, right?
What do you think of Oprah for president?
I love that.
You do?
Yeah.
Exactly. These guys have been accused of some seriously messed up stuff, yet somehow Oprah's name always finds its way into the conversation. What's really going on here?
When we went to Colorado for the A to Z event, we had a lot of legal evidence that we made sure we already had because we knew a list of people were about to get got. You can't run for that long.
Coincidence? Or is there something bigger at play? 50's not buying it. And after what he just said, this could be the beginning of the end for Oprah.
Once upon a time, you didn't like Oprah.
Right. You're looking at it and you're saying that everything that's wrong with our culture is why I'm a success.
Wow.
So when I actually got a chance to talk to her, she was like, I never thought about it like that.
So what does she really know? And why has she stayed so close to these shady figures for so long? Let's get into it, because this is about to get real messy. We all know 50 Cent doesn't hold back. When he's got something to say, he says it. No filter, no sugarcoating. And when someone's on his bad side, it's game over. Well, guess what? Oprah just found herself back in his crosshairs. Their history? Let's just say they've never been besties. The rap mogul and the media queen have been at odds for years. But this time, it looks like 50 just landed the final blow, the one that could take Oprah down for good. So what did he say? And what's really going on here?
I just said something. I made a comment about not understanding why they were choosing specific people for the Me Too stuff, the documentaries.
You probably remember the long-standing beef between 50 Cent and Oprah. It all kicked off when Oprah came for hip-hop, calling out lyrics she claimed were degrading to women. And guess who was right in the middle of that conversation? Yup, 50 Cent. He wasn't having it. To him, it felt like Oprah had a personal vendetta against rappers, especially black men in the industry. And ever since then, things between them have been anything but friendly.
Every time she made a mention to hip-hop culture, it was something that was wrong with it. And it was something that was on my CD that was the largest debut in hip-hop.
The feud simmered for years, with 50 even naming his dog Oprah at one point.
That's Oprah.
That's Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For years, 50 Cent and Oprah were like oil and water. Oprah made it no secret that she had little respect for the rap industry, openly criticizing artists like 50 for their explicit lyrics and portrayal of women. She had a history of denouncing rap culture, claiming it perpetuated negative stereotypes, and would often use her platform to uplift different narratives. Naturally, 50 felt some type of way about it. In interviews, he took jabs at Oprah, saying she only catered to middle-aged white women and wasn't really repping black culture or the communities she claimed to support.
I don't even think Oprah Winfrey is a black woman. I think she's a white woman.
The feud simmered for years until a surprising plot twist happened. 50 and Oprah finally sat down for a heart-to-heart on her show Oprah's Next Chapter in 2012. Fans were shook. How did these two polar opposites, who seemingly couldn't stand each other, suddenly come together for a friendly chat? Well, friendly might be a stretch. While they tried to keep things light, the awkward tension in the air was impossible to miss.
Did you ever find out who did it?
Yeah, I know who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
One of the standout moments was when 50 casually admitted that, as a joke, he had named his dog Oprah. Oprah gave a polite chuckle, but you could tell it was one of those forced laughs where she was low-key irritated. 50 added that he also named his cat Gail, a double troll aimed at Oprah's best friend, Gayle King. It was clear 50 was still throwing shade, just in a more passive-aggressive way this time.
You have a dog named Oprah.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
I consider that a compliment.
I had a cat.
Right?
I got a cat too.
Name?
Gail.
But the drama between the two didn't start or end there. Years before this so-called reconciliation, 50 had publicly complained about Oprah's refusal to invite rappers on her original talk show. He once said, "I was saying, if I can't be your friend, at least let me be your enemy, so I coexist." His frustration grew as Oprah continued to feature non-hip-hop celebrities while shunning rap artists who were dominating the charts. It wasn't just 50 who noticed the cold shoulder. Other rappers like Ice Cube and Ludacris echoed similar sentiments, accusing Oprah of ignoring hip-hop's impact on Black culture. Ludacris even claimed Oprah treated him unfairly during a promotional interview for Crash, questioning him only about his lyrics while glossing over the film's themes. This history made 50's interview on Next Chapter even more bizarre, leaving fans wondering if the whole thing was just for show.
She cut you off.
Right.
She edited out what you had to say.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what it came down to. That was the only time I was on Oprah.
Okay, and then
whether we get invited back.
During their conversation, Oprah asked 50 some personal questions, diving into his upbringing and how he developed his tough persona. While 50 answered politely, you could sense his guard was still up. The vibe wasn't exactly warm and fuzzy, more like two frenemies trying to play nice in front of cameras. When Oprah asked him if he felt misunderstood, 50 gave her a sly smile and replied, "You misunderstood me for a long time." Oprah tried to keep her cool, but the subtle jabs didn't go unnoticed. Adding fuel to the fire, 50 later revealed that part of the reason he agreed to the interview was to patch things up for his grandmother, who happened to be a huge Oprah fan. It was one of those moments where you couldn't tell if 50 was being genuine or just playing along to get what he wanted. Either way, it added another layer of awkwardness to the whole situation. Even after the interview, the tension between Oprah and 50 didn't completely disappear. Not long after their sit-down, 50 posted another Instagram jab aimed at Oprah saying, "We cool now, but I'm still me." It was clear that while the interview might have been an attempt to bury the hatchet, 50 wasn't about to change who he was, or let Oprah off the hook entirely. But things have heated up again, and now it looks like 50 Cent's calling Oprah out in a way that could really damage her. Let's talk about why 50 Cent's latest move might be the nail in the coffin for Oprah. We've all seen Oprah linked to some seriously controversial figures, people like Harvey Weinstein, Sean Diddy Combs, and even John of God, that John, the so-called spiritual healer, who's now serving time for horrific crimes.
But we've been investigating this man's practices around the world and have found a sinister history of police investigations, assault allegations.
So, what does 50 Cent have to do with all this? Well, he's calling it like he sees it, no surprise there. He's been pretty vocal about how Oprah seems to protect certain powerful men, especially when they're caught up in some seriously shady business.
So what's the surprise so far in the other announcements that have been made so far?
I know that Gal's, her great friend, but, and it's my movie, Lee Daniels, the butler, but the fact that Oprah didn't get a Golden Globe nomination is shocking.
Now, let's be real. Everyone knew Harvey had a shady reputation long before his fall from grace. But Oprah? She was still kicking it with him for over 2 decades. She didn't just know Harvey, she openly supported him, even calling him her friend. But this is where things get weird. People in the industry had been whispering about Weinstein's sleazy antics since the 90s.
What do you mean by body flashback?
I can feel him there.
So Oprah really had no clue about what was happening right under her nose, or was she turning a blind eye to keep herself in the good graces of Hollywood's biggest power player? Singer Seal described it this way.
What I reposted was commentary on the hypocritical and double-standard nature and behavior of Hollywood.
When Weinstein's empire came crashing down thanks to the #Me Too movement, Hollywood was quick to cut ties and throw him under the bus. And Oprah? At first, she didn't say much, but rumors started swirling that behind the scenes, she reached out to support him, trying to keep things quiet while the storm brewed. She said, "If we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this watershed moment." I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my positioning, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile. I've got to look the other way. I've got to pretend he didn't say that. I've got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over. Let's be honest, Weinstein's behavior wasn't some tightly guarded secret. People in the industry knew about the rumors. Actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Ashley Judd had shared their stories, and Weinstein's casting couch reputation was legendary. Even if people weren't outright calling him a predator, there were enough whispers about his sleazy behavior that someone like Oprah, who is one of the most well-connected people in Hollywood, had to know. But instead, she turned it into a kumbaya moment.
I think that this is
Yeah, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining.
It's hard to ignore the fact that Oprah, a self-proclaimed advocate for women, was super close to one of Hollywood's biggest controversial figures. And while her team can deny all day that she reached out to support him during his downfall, it's hard to shake the feeling that she's trying to keep some things under wraps. So did she stay silent because of what Weinstein could offer her in terms of connections and influence? And what makes this a harder pill to swallow is that if you think Harvey is the only sketchy person she is connected to, you would be wrong, because she is also being named in the court documents of Diddy's lawsuit. Now let's dive into Diddy for a second. His name has been popping up in all kinds of controversies lately, from allegations of AB to weird behind-the-scenes power plays. Diddy's empire might be full of success stories, but the rumors of what happens behind the scenes, not so pretty.
So this case is about money, power, respect, and violence.
And who's been seen cozying up to him at times? Oprah herself. Is she turning a blind eye here too? Or is there something more to this relationship? Recently, Ally Carter released a video in which she made some really shocking claims about their relationship. She openly claimed that she was aided by Diddy, and that all those alleged Diddy secret tunnels that lead to Diddy's Playboy mansion actually exist.
Carter has just made an affidavit of truth that she turned over to the feds against Diddy and other celebrities about how she was allegedly abused at a Playboy mansion party.
And he was not alone. She exposed many names in a document who were the regular attendees of the parties. And guess what? That list shockingly had Oprah's name. According to Ally, she knew Oprah is as serious a criminal as Diddy is, and she even predicted his arrest alongside Oprah's.
I already knew that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested.
But she is not the only one who came forward. Well, it seems like 50 also knows these things. Yeah, you've heard about it. Well, given their history, 50 Cent has never held back when it came to taking shots at Diddy. And with Homeland Security recently raiding Diddy's homes, things just got a whole lot messier. Now everyone's talking. Rumors are swirling that 50 Cent might even be involved with the authorities, stirring up this drama to keep the heat on his longtime rival. Even some damning revelations from former bad boy artists were attributed to 50 Cent's instigations.
And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they've been to have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff.
Let's be real. 50 has been clowning Diddy on social media for years now, making a point to call him out whenever something shady goes down. In classic 50 style, he dropped a now-deleted Instagram post that hinted Diddy's troubles were far from over, suggesting that the bad press swirling around the music mogul was only the beginning. Sharing a screenshot showing Sean's two sons, Justin and King Combs, being escorted out of his Los Angeles home in handcuffs, 50 Cent wrote, "S just got real the feds and all the cribs. Damn, they got the kids in cuffs." In a second post, which featured images of the feds outside of Sean's LA home, he pointed out, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case."
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. For the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about?
Now, here's where things get real interesting. Think about it. 50 has been going after Diddy nonstop, exposing him left and right. So what's stopping him from putting Oprah on blast too? She's been linked to some very questionable people over the years. And with Diddy's latest mess, he's just another name on that shady list. If 50's got a bone to pick with Diddy, you know he's not letting Oprah slide either. Like we mentioned earlier, Oprah has been way too close to some of Hollywood's most controversial figures, including Diddy himself. So the real question is, did Oprah really not know what was happening behind the scenes? Or is she just playing the game, cozying up to powerful people no matter how dirty their pasts are? For 50 Cent, this is just Oprah being Oprah. And that's exactly why he's calling her out. He's basically saying, look at the company she keeps. Because let's be real, when your inner circle includes guys like Weinstein and Diddy, it's not exactly a good look. If you can remember, you'd recall that the 50 Cent versus Oprah beef didn't start today. During an interview some years back, he said, "So she ain't never gonna have me on that show. I'm never gonna reach that platform, which is confirmation of you being a huge success. So I just said, okay, if we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies." So with that kind of history, it really makes sense seeing 50 Cent bash Oprah, so especially on her connections to rich and problematic men. Now that leads us back to Oprah's connection to one particular man, John of God. This so-called spiritual healer from Brazil was once praised by Oprah, who even featured him on her show back in 2010, boosting his fame and giving him instant credibility. Millions of people around the world saw Oprah, one of the most trusted voices in media, validate this guy, leading to an even bigger following for him.
This is an interview I wasn't sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree.
But here's where things take a really dark turn. Fast forward a few years, and the truth comes out. John of God wasn't some miracle healer. He was running a full-blown trafficking operation. We're talking HTSA and the horrific exploitation of vulnerable people, mostly women, who trusted him to heal them. The crimes this man committed were beyond sick, and guess what? Oprah had a front row seat to all of it. And it's not like Oprah just mentioned John of God in passing. Nah, she praised him. She put him on her platform, slapped that Oprah seal of approval on him, and we all know what that means. People trusted Oprah. So when she featured him on her show, she basically handed him a megaphone to reach even more victims. Before Oprah, he was just some obscure healer. After Oprah, he had legitimacy, the kind that predators dream of.
As a medium, he's a spiritualist. He believes a great deal in God, and he practices this mission.
But now that the truth has come out, and it's horrifying, we're left asking some serious questions. Did Oprah really have no idea what was going on with this guy? Or did she turn a blind eye because he was helping her build a brand of spiritual wellness that fit her narrative? Well, netizens also have their say on the situation. One person wrote, Oprah needs to be in jail with him. Another one added, Oprah doesn't like when the Bible says the Most High is a jealous God, yet she's asking this creep, who makes her feel humbled, evokes humility, how to be a medium for God. It doesn't make any sense. Little children, beware of idols. Let's be real, John of God's use wasn't a small operation. He was running a full-blown T-ring under the guise of spiritual healing. So it's hard to believe that someone like Oprah, with all her resources and connections, wouldn't at least have heard whispers about what was happening. The rumors were out there, and if we know that now, what are the chances that Oprah, with her massive influence and network, didn't hear anything back then? But people do take notice of these things, as one observer commented, "Who knew? Oprah too!" Brazilian court pronounced guilty sentence on December 19, 2019. 19 years in jail. And more to come. With over 300 accusations /victims/women and girls. Do you think that others either knew and looked the other way or helped him in his crimes? So if Oprah knew even a little bit about what was going on, why did she keep supporting him? And if she didn't know, how is that even possible? Oprah has a reputation for being thorough. She doesn't just slap her name on something without knowing the details. So it's hard to believe she was completely clueless. What's clear is that Oprah's influence gave John of God even more power to prey on people. By featuring him on her show, she basically legitimized him to millions of viewers around the world. People saw him as a miraculous healer, someone Oprah trusted, so they flocked to him, thinking they were in safe hands. But instead of healing, they walked into a nightmare, becoming victims of some of the most horrific crimes imaginable.
Do we all have the possibility in our own way to be a medium for God?
Todos nós somos médium.
Everybody is a medium.
When we hear about HT and SA, it's easy to feel detached, like it's some far-off thing happening in the shadows. But this was right in our living rooms, brought to us by Oprah, one of the most trusted voices in media. How many women were drawn to John of God because they saw him on Oprah? How many walked straight into his trap, thinking, if Oprah trusts him, he has to be legit? And here's the real question. If Oprah had known what was going on, could she have stopped him? She had the platform, the resources, and the global reach to take this guy down before he destroyed more lives. Instead, she helped build him up. By putting him on her show, she didn't just boost his reputation. She handed him direct access to more victims. And now, knowing what we know, you have to wonder, How many lives could have been saved if Oprah had dug deeper or used her platform to expose the truth instead of promoting him? Oprah's connection to John of God raises some uncomfortable questions about her responsibility in all of this. Sure, she may not have been directly involved in his crimes, but by endorsing him, she became part of the chain of events that led to countless people being hurt. When you're Oprah, you don't get to claim ignorance. With great power comes great responsibility, and Oprah wielded her power in a way that allowed a P-dater to flourish. John of God isn't the only controversial figure Oprah has been linked to either. Let's not forget her long-standing friendship with Harvey Weinstein. We've already talked about that, but it shows a pattern. Oprah has this habit of aligning herself with powerful men who, as it turns out, are involved in some seriously dark stuff. Now, when these men get exposed, Oprah always seems to distance herself or claim ignorance. But how many times can she play that card? We've seen powerful people get brought down for far less. With Oprah's connections to people like John of God and Harvey Weinstein, how much longer can she keep her untouchable image? People are starting to question the company she keeps, and it's not a good look for someone who's built an empire on being a voice of truth, healing, and empowerment. One of the keen observers commented, "She's a handler, and I'm happy to see more people are becoming aware of the toxic person she truly is." Another one added, "Narcissists don't take accountability. Oprah will never take responsibility for things she says or does." Could Oprah's ties to men like John of God and Diddy finally be the cracks in her empire? When you're linked to people involved in HT, SA, and other crimes, it's only a matter of time before the public starts holding you accountable. And right now, people are definitely asking questions. So it's not surprising seeing that 50 Cent isn't not pulling punches when he points out that Oprah's ties to men like this are beyond shady. Sure, she eventually distanced herself after the crimes came to light, but isn't that just convenient? Did she know more than she let on before all this was exposed? And why did she give him a platform in the first place? Is she really someone who can be trusted as a moral authority? It looks like for 50, the answer is no. 50 said, "They are misogynistic, but the world is not under the same circumstances." Are you going to tell a painter what to paint? I'm an artist. Why am I limited to what you feel should be said? In film and television, they will show art imitates life. Are you not aware of those situations taking place? So, what's next for Oprah? 50 Cent seems to think that this could be the end of her public reign. After all, how many times can you be connected to controversial, even criminal, figures before people start asking serious questions? Will Oprah's empire crumble because of these associations, or is she too powerful to fail? We all know the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right now, there's a lot of smoke surrounding Oprah. With 50 Cent fanning the flames and exposing these connections, it's hard not to wonder, is this the final straw for Oprah? Well, she's positioned herself as a champion for justice and empowerment, but her relationships with men like Diddy and Weinstein and John tell a different story. So let's wait and see. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.